Bengals taking that loss 16-10 to the Steelers. A few things of note, right? This is the first time in 59 games that the Steelers offense has gained over 400 yards. Way to go, Bengals defense. Freiermuth went off on us again. Last year he had 75 and 76 yards on 8 catches. Today, I don't know how many catches he had, but he had over 100 yards. 9 catches. He had over 100 yards. And the last 5 games, he had a total of like 55 yards in those 5 games that he's played. The offense was anemic, and we're making Pickett look like the number 1 draft choice. Not a first round pick, but the number 1 overall draft pick. But play calling, we can get into that. We can get into defense, but it was just a bummer. I mean, we win that game. We got the tiebreaker with Pittsburgh, 6-5. Looks like Houston might lose.
You have a chance if you win that game. You have a chance.
Now you don't.
No, they're done. They're done.
Right, and so I don't know, thoughts on the game, where we stand, what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Pittsburgh, for the first time in 4 seasons now, they got 400 yards of total offense. I mean, that's the starting point for me. That's unacceptable. That offense is terrible. Kenny Pickett legitimately might be the 6th best quarterback in the division. I mean, Huntley, all the starters are better. Huntley, the backup for the Ravens, is better. And DTR might be better for the Cleveland Browns. I think with time, it'll show he's a better quarterback. And we let them just do whatever they want. Yeah, the points weren't there because they still suck. So, there's still some of that to it. But to give up 400 yards of offense to the Pittsburgh Steelers is terrible. So, yeah, I mean, you just can't have that. And then I don't know if anybody told Zach Taylor, but Joe Burrow is injured. He's not playing. He's not the quarterback. So maybe you should adjust your play calling accordingly. I don't think he realized that. Joe Mixon had 8 rushes. No other running backs had any rushes. Ran the ball 8 times today with a backup quarterback.
13 yards, 14 yards, something like that, I think.
With a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
You only run it 8 times. I don't know what planet Zach Taylor's on, what recipe, what he was trying to cook up there to think that a backup quarterback could just come out and carve up a defense, especially a Pittsburgh Steelers defense. No, you run the ball, you control the clock, and you take a couple shots on play action. That's all you do, and you try and win. But no, he wants to throw the ball 35 times. He wants to nickel and dime it, wants to try and carve him up. Thinks Jake Browning can just be Joe Burrow because he thinks he's the genius. He thinks the success is because of him and his scheming and not the fact that he's got Joe Burrow out there. Absolute moron is what he is.
Crowley, you're the voice of reason, right?
Hey, I'm the one that said Zach Taylor was like 16th in the league in terms of coaching last week. Yep. I believe he's now 4-26 without Joe Burrow as a starter. I mean, right there. I mean, it's pretty bad. So, but overall, I said before we got on here, I made the comment. I think the Bengals defense coordinators, or not just Lou, but the whole defensive coaching staff must be getting together at the local bar with the Bearcats defensive coaching staff and sharing notes and schemes and stuff, because neither one can stop a high school running back from gaining yards. I mean, awful. So Pittsburgh runs the ball down our throat. Pickett looks way better than he is, and we're going to lose the game because we're not going to score a lot of points. I mean, it's just bottom line. We're not going to score points between them. We got play calling issues, and we got a backup quarterback making his first start ever. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how you guys said, I don't know how you run Mixon 8 times. He runs more. He doesn't run much with Burrow, but he runs more than that with Burrow. So, we don't have a backup running back. We didn't draft one, like a real one. We just run in motion. We do this. We just continue we roll out the same players we think we can. Same thing. Tight ends. Drew Sample somehow a second touchdown. I don't know where that
That's
came.
that Washington connection, right there.
I guess, but yeah. So I don't have much to say. I really only watched the second half. It was boring as boring could be as far as NFL is concerned. So I'm sure they'll do their normal, boring press conferences and say the same boring stuff that they always do about what they're doing and what they're not doing and how they're going to get better and rally the troops and whatever. But the scheduling isn't getting easier the rest of the year. Today was the day. I mean, Pittsburgh's not good. They may be the worst 7-4 team in NFL history. So it ain't going to get easier when you're going to Kansas City and you're going to Jacksonville and you got to go to Pittsburgh still and, Cleveland coming in and all that stuff. So good luck.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you guys said. The one thing that really, the more I think about it, the play calling itself. I mean, okay, we're dropping back, and I know this is what Zach will say, that those little screen passes, line of scrimmage passes are the extension of our running game. But when you're out of shotgun doing that, it's not. I mean, you got to get under center, do some play action, allow. I don't know. The offensive line did not play poorly. I mean, they allowed him 6 seconds to throw the ball, and he panicked. I mean, I don't know, 3 times he stepped up into the pocket where the rush was coming from, and he just, I don't know, held on to the ball way too long. And that, first game's jitters, I guess. But the 3rd and 8 call in the second half where he throws the pick, in hindsight, yeah. But, Zach did scheme it open. Chase was open. If he throws it outside instead of inside, Chase catches that and, it's a first down. But my question is, why don't you just run the ball there? It was 3rd and 8. You got a backup quarterback making his first NFL start. You are on the 18-yard line. Worst case scenario, you get 3 points, right? I mean, you run the ball, you get 3 points, and you go up 6. You go up 13-7. Then, Pittsburgh has to drive the length of the field, off of a score, not of a pick. And, it's just one of those things where they just did not execute, and they
didn't put themselves in positions to win.
No, and
that's what you have to do with a backup quarterback. You have to take it out of their hands and just set it up to win.
Yeah, and I give kudos to Browning for being confident in himself, but you're a backup for a reason, dude. I mean, you've been in the league for 6 years and you haven't gotten a shot, right? So there's a reason. The other thing is, this could be, a hot take, but, Lou goes from possibly being the next great head coach to possibly not even having a job at the end of this year. I mean, if our defense is...
We don't make changes like that.
Huh?
We don't make changes like that.
Well, I know we don't, but I'm just saying. I'm saying that maybe we should, and Zach can go with them. And
it's the players. They didn't. They turned
over
it's
not the players. It is the scheme. It is the scheme because every year the tight end down the seam is wide freaking open every year.
Yeah,
so
but we
it's
have
not the players.
We have no safety. Awuzie and Hilton are both toast. They can't run to save their lives, and we're relying on them to cover 1s and 2s.
Well, Jordan Battle played really well today. Actually, we saw a little bit of Miles Murphy. He made some plays. My boy Zach had a big punch-out fumble, But other than that, Dax Hill,
He was not good.
Know. No, he was not good in coverage. Yeah, I mean, I go back to our pod at the beginning when we lost Bates and Bell, and I said I think Von Bell we're going to miss more than Jesse Bates, and
because we were planning on losing Bates.
Right.
I still don't see how they lost both of them. They do that too often in this franchise's history. I mean, where they have two guys and they know they're losing one, but then they don't do enough to bring the second guy back. I mean, just that last season, a couple years ago with Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones, they knew they were losing Marvin Jones, but then they just didn't bring back Sanu. And I mean, yeah, it's rough. I don't get why. 2 years ago they lost Uzama and they lost the other tight end that they had, Croft.
Yeah, Croft.
And I mean, they brought in they actually replaced the production there with Hurst, so it wasn't. You didn't really notice it, but they do that too often where they have two guys and they don't retain one of them. They let them both go, which is, I think it's just terrible that they do that.
And, but.
Especially when you look at what Jesse Bates is doing this year, and he's back to being that top 5 safety.
Right. All right. Anything else on the stinking out of Bengals here?
What do we got next week?
We've got Jacksonville Monday night in Jacksonville.
They just went and beat Houston at Houston.
Yep. So.
Yeah, that's not gonna go well.
No.
So I guess we should make a prediction then.
Jacksonville. Let's see. I'll go Jacksonville 27, Bengals 13.
Yeah, I was going to go Jacksonville 24, Bengals 10.
Yeah, I'm not going to be optimistic on this prediction like I was last week. So I'll go. Yeah, I like kind of where you guys are. I'll say 27-10 Jacksonville.
So does AJ see the field next week?
McCarron? No. Not unless there's an injury. Nope.
All right. I don't know. I mean, yeah, probably not. I mean, back up, but
no, because Zach's gonna come out and say that Browning had a good played well today.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
He's gonna say he ran the offense well. He liked the looks. He made one bad throw. That's exactly what he's gonna say. He won't mention anything about the lack of run game. Well, and none of those beat reporters are even going to ask him about it.
Right.
No, it's not on Browning.
No, it's not on Browning.
I'm just saying.
Right, but you got to get rid of the ball. I mean, the one sack he took where he rolled out.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden the guy came from
you see the linebacker from 15 yards back making a beeline for him, and
throw the dang ball away. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Okay, so they had his hands up. So what? Hit him in his hands, drop it. Hit him in the gut. I mean, they're not going to catch the ball. But no, so that's one thing he has to clean up is taking those sacks and just those bonehead decisions. And you see that a lot with inexperienced guys playing, right? I mean, you do. So hopefully next week will be better, but Jacksonville in Duval County there on a Monday night, it ain't going to be pretty. So, all right. Moving on to